All right, so let's get going. Between videos, I went through and ordered, finished the second pack, ordered this deck, ordered the selections for a player, and then I have the third pack ready to go for drafting. Again, like before, I'm not going to draft the whole pack. I'm just going to draft the first few selections to 15 minutes and I'm done. And so this first deck is a Guiber, has a lot of red. So it's a Wyber white red. It's not really on any tribe. It's got enough 1-drops to be dangerous with Wyber, and it's got the angels. It's got some fairies and some fairy tales, but it's not really on a tribe. It's just a good stuff deck. It may not end up even using its barrier of shadows, or incredibly enough, the single deep blue that came out in those first rounds of packs. Okay, so that is Arla, Angels, somewhat, but it's really on Guiber. Then Xi'an also did not get a lot of hand manipulation. It's got 1 out on Brawly. It's got a couple of multicolored spells. It's on a little bit of everything. It's got 2 barrier of shadows, but it's not good. It doesn't have a good dark selection. It's got a good red, blue, and of course green. So it's got a lot of green, and it's got a lot of white. So it can do angels and fairies reasonably well right now. So it's not as well defined as it could have been, but it's still a strong deck. Then the Machina deck did come out having a lot of machines because nobody else at the table wants them. There's not 2 people running Machina. And so it does have a good selection of machines. It's got a good blue selection as well, helper for machines. And it's got a Guiber, so it can do a lot. But I think the Guiber is really, the Guiber can do well here. And of course it's got a reasonable green selection, as does every deck. The surprise one is the Alice Valkyrie, because this deck started as the least focused, but it ended up becoming very focused. It's got it's got some random stuff, but then it's got a good selection of darkness. So it's got a really good selection of darkness. Same as machines, because nobody else really wanted them because they were focusing on something else. And it's got a good selection of green stuff, and early on it got some good green critters. So really this is more like a black-green deck that can go third color, but I'm not sure it really needs to. So it's actually one of the more focused deck of the 4 by the end of the second pack. Okay? So now, also I was going to mention, I do have some packs ready for some pack cracks to embellish this selection. I have a dozen packs of Twilight Wonder, a dozen packs of 7 Kings, booster box of the Moonlit Savior that I'm going to crack later in the year, and then also some BFA packs, a dozen packs of BFA. So that should be enough to really beef up the cube and maybe go for another round. I don't know if I'm going to have the time to do that. It takes a lot of time and effort to get to even to this point, even as relatively disorganized as this may seem. So there you have it. Okay, so this is the first selection for this deck. And I think it's pretty clear that this deck is going to want the big white dude. It's going to want Arthur. So it's going to pick Arthur. This deck is probably going to want to pick either Hera or Death Scythe. And I think it's probably going to be Hera. This deck is probably going to want a machine, of course. unless there's some bomb in here. It does have Guyver, so it's gonna be doing white anyways for Guyver. So really, so it's on green, like every other deck. It's got some blue. Actually, this deck is not. I keep getting confused about which deck is on Guyver and which one isn't. Oh yeah, it is. I put it on top just so I don't get confused. So it's gonna want the Angel, even though it has access to Death Side. And then this deck, see, that's the hand manipulation card. This deck can also pick up a Guyver, and there's a Hera and a Sacred Beasts. It's a nice card. I mean, this is quite a pack. I still would have picked the Guyver just because you want a big flyer you can easily cast. Okay, so now in this case we are doing it to the right, just like we did the first pack, instead of to the left. And then this guy gets a really good pack. And then they're probably going to want to pick Hera. I think this guy's probably going to pick this side. And the same with this one. And the same with this one. So all of that sides are coming out in these packs. Okay, so then we're going to move this way. Yeah, right. That was easy. Okay, and then this person is going to want a Scorn of Dark Alice, even though it's not on black, but it may end up being just because. And then this person had Xion, and finally it gets a deck manipulation that it'll pick over a better, what would otherwise be a better card. Then our Machine's Friend is going to have to pick between one of these two. Throw two or less from your graveyard into your field. Yeah, it's going to allow you to recover something for machines. That's good. And this is the green-black deck. It's going to probably want that. Yeah, one of these two, and I think Scorn of Dark Alice wins. Okay, so this deck is running on Guyver, and it does have the keepers, and probably wants a good red effect. It already has a lot of 1-drops, but it's already on white and needs 1-drops for Guyver. and it's already also on the blue, so it can pick a soldier as well. So it's really wants multiple things. This is a really good pack for this deck. But I think the fairy is probably gonna, well, as long as there are 10 more, yeah, there's never gonna be 10 or more cards in your removed area. Yeah, these are really good choices, but I'm gonna go for the 1-drop fairy. I mean, this is an excellent card, regardless of whether you're on fairies or not. Although this, I want it to be on beasts, fairies. I think this deck wanted to be on beasts. This deck is the one that has the Prisha. Yeah, fairies and beasts. This early in the game, it's going to want to pick something stronger. Then the machine deck, this is a good card. And of these, this guy is really good. 4-drop flyer. And the red-black deck, I mean the green-black deck, is going to be looking for shadows. Although this guy is pretty weak. This guy already picked up a Guiver late game, so actually a mana dork for white, and it's already in green, is actually going to be pretty good. Okay. One-drop soldier and Keen Sense. The moon selection in this particular version of this cube is rather weak. So anybody looking at moon cards is not going to care. I need to do better for the next iteration. This guy would have picked a Keen Sense. And this guy would have probably picked a beast. Would have picked a machine, resonator, 1-drop, and then this person would have finally picked the horn. Yeah, I would have finally picked the horn, even though it's on shadows, but the horn is pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to be done right now for pack 3 off camera, and then in the next video I'll just go through the final decks that were the final selections that each one of the 4 players has.